Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leia and this is Budget with Leia. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be going over my debt. I want to show you guys where I was a few years back to where I currently am in my journey here. I won't go too much into that and for some of the previous years just because I don't want to make this video too long. So let me get ready and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are. This is 2019, so 2 years back, 3 years back, I guess. So, and we're going to start off just how many debts I had in 2019, how many debts I started with, and how much debt I started with, or ended with in 2019. So, first things first, in 2019, I had two debts. So I had my Chase credit card and I had my previous car. This one, I bought this car for my brother. He sold it to me for, I believe, $5,000. And I was making monthly payments to him for this car, but I was personally not keeping track of it or how much was left. He was the one that keeping track of it. So I don't really have much information on this besides how much it was at the beginning and when I technically paid it off. So let's start off with this Chase credit card. So I was still going to college. Just a quick thing, I graduated with a bachelor's of science in mathematics and actuarial science certificate. So that's what I graduated. That's what I studied. That's what I graduated in. So at the beginning of this year, I was still in school, but it was my last semester. And I actually looked back at the transactions during this time frame, and most of these transactions were for gas, school expenses, so school books, school supplies, and then the occasional tuition payment. I paid off all my school tuition on my own. So I didn't take out any student loans or any loan of any sort for that. The only technically school debt that I had was put on my credit card, which was very small amounts. $1,697. Only some of that was towards school stuff. And mostly had to do with if I either didn't work that much that month or whatever, and I was short $100 for my tuition, then I would pay on my credit card. That's what that was for. I was able to not get any student loans because I lived with my family. I didn't pay any major bills besides the car, the gas, and then tuition. That's pretty much all I paid for, which I'm greatly grateful for. The first year I did have a scholarship. The second year my dad helped me out with half the expenses, but everything else was me. So I started school in 2013. Yeah, like I said, the first 2 years were pretty much helped out with or good, but the next 4 to 5 years was all me. I thought it'd be better to wait a little bit extra to finish university and not be in debt than be in debt for $200,000. I was too scared to be in debt. That was the thing. Too scared. Alright, moving on. So, Chase credit card. So, this is how much I had at the beginning of 2019. $1,697.41. And as you can see, periodically, I did pay a good amount every time. And this was not my minimum. So, my minimum was about $40 to $100. It kind of varied throughout the year. But I always try to pay twice the amount of my minimum. My brother told me that when I first got my credit card. He also said, unless it's an emergency, do not charge your credit card if you don't have the money to pay it back. And I mostly followed that. Obviously, I was still pretty young, so there's times where I'm like, oh, I want to buy this or that. So that's kind of what happened there. But you can see I paid $200, $250, $200, $200, $100, $150, all the way down. So I was pretty consistent. I say pretty consistent in paying a good chunk of it back every month. In May of 2019, I graduated university, so I was excited. I was like, great, time to get a new job. And end of July in 2019 is when I got my new job. I went from being a full-time assistant manager at a coffee shop to being a business analyst in a company. So it was a very big change, very different change in income as well. It was very exciting. The other thing that happened during this time, which was kind of started in July, but I only got the new phone in September, was that my phone was dying. Like, it would not take text messages or calls or voicemails, which was annoying when you were trying to get a new job. And I got a new phone, and I knew I needed a new phone. I needed it because it was dying. Nowadays, you need a phone, and then I charge it to my credit card. So you can see that difference in September. It went from $1,300 to $2,600, $1,300 or so for my phone. And again, I was still paying it off quite consistently. And then the end of November, I had $2,376.68. Great. And then December happened. So in December, I was in a car accident. My car got totaled completely. So that happened. With, the insurance and things like that, insurance paid, medical costs, etc., things like that. They gave me a check for the car. I didn't really pay much of anything, but I realized I didn't have an emergency fund. I didn't have extra money. I didn't do much about it, but I freaked out that I didn't have money at the time. So I got my new check for my car. Now I have no car, but I have a check of a certain amount of money. And my brother was like, "You need a new car." And I was like, "I do need a new car." I got a new car. So in December, I paid off the rest of the amount that I had, that I owed my brother. I don't remember how much that was. I think it was like $3,000 or something. And then the rest of the money, actually, I did end up paying something for my medical. I just remembered, because my car insurance paid off a good amount, and then my health insurance paid a little bit, but because I had a high deductible, I didn't meet the deductible, so I had to pay the rest, which some of that money actually went to paying off the rest. I just remembered. I completely blanked. I was like, wait a second, I have more money than that. Never mind. This car is paid off now, but I no longer have this car anyway, so meh. And then I have my credit card, which I think I charged something here, and now I have $25,532.01 in debt for my car. My minimum payment is $433.45, and my interest is 6.75%. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I need to start paying this off. And my first payment is in January of 2022. Or 2020, not 2022. Alright, so let's move on to 2020 and see where we're at. Let's go over the car first. So for the car, I paid my monthly payment every single month, and I did not pay anything extra the entirety of 2020. I went from $25,532 to $22,019. So I paid $3,000 towards my car. At the time, I was just paying what was required of me. I wasn't thinking too much. But I was putting a bunch more of attention towards my credit card. So I started with $2,424. And again, periodically pay $250, $150, $200, $200, $200. And then in July of 2020 is when I was like, I really want to pay this credit card off. I hate having to pay $200 every single month or $250 every single month. And that's when I started to pay it off pretty much at the same rate, but I was no longer really putting any charges on it. I think the only thing I put on it was my Netflix. So yeah, in July of 2020, I paid $600 towards my credit card. And that was probably just from money that I had saved up. And I know I could have saved way more money than that during this time, but at this time I wasn't really paying attention to what I was buying. But yeah, so my credit card went from $2,424.67 to $1,355.34. So I made, $1,000 or so in progress. But you can see there were some months that I did charge some extra, so I went back up, and back down. Alright, so moving on to 2021. So this is when I started my budgeting journey, but I started in mid 2021. So again, Chase credit card, $1,300, so $1,355.34, and I was paying it off $150, $155, $125, $150, $150, $200, and then I think it was in June and July. That's when I found the cash envelope budgeting community here on YouTube. I first watched Cash Stuffing, and then I also saw that people were doing their debt confessions. And I remember thinking, whoa, all these people have so much debt, etc. But I enjoyed watching them. I enjoyed watching and seeing their balances go down. I know it was high balance. I know some of them were embarrassed about showing their debt. But pretty much everyone has debt of some kind. So you shouldn't really be embarrassed. You should be proud that you're showing your debt, and proud that you're acknowledging it, and proud that you are gonna tackle this. You have a plan to tackle this. So I thought it was great to see all that. And who was it? Dear Debt, I believe, where she does her Friday debt updates. I love her channel, and just seeing her pay off her debt weekly, I was like, okay, what money can I put extra towards my car and towards my credit card to pay it off faster? So in August of 2020, so about a month or so after I kind of found it and started looking at my budget and trying to see where my money was going, I paid off my credit card, or pretty much paid it off. I paid off $600.94, and then I had $9.74 the next month for interest, which, whatever, it's fine. Paid it off technically in September. I had this much money because I actually sold some concert tickets that I no longer was going to be going to, because I was still not comfortable with going to a concert with 20,000 people when there was still technically a pandemic going on. So I sold the tickets, got the money, and then used that money to pay off the credit card. So in September of 2021, I completely paid it off. Now, I use my credit card now just to pay my bills, and I use it for spending and eating out and things like that. But if you've seen my unstuffing videos, I unstuff all that money and then pay it off that week. Alright, so let's move on to car. So again, I was paying off pretty much everything normally, and then June and July is when I got really hold of what I wanted to do. I don't want to pay this car off for another 4 or 5 years, because my contract is, whatever my payment schedule is, paying from January 2020 to December of 2025. So that means if I pay it off like this for, as a monthly payment forever, and no additional payments, I will be paying it off in December of 2025. So this is kind of when I started the 100 envelope challenge, and I started putting money away into that challenge. And I told myself, I want to be able to save about $2,000 in that challenge and put that towards my car. So if you've seen my video where I stuff my extra income for December, you'll see that I was able to save $2,289.89. There's no cents in there. I saved that much in my 100 envelope challenge, but I actually paid a total of $2,500 towards my car debt right here. But this is how much I paid towards my car debt. So I went from $22,019.50 at the start of January of this year, or 2021, to $15,679.43 at the end of 2021. I think that's great. And I want to keep this trend going. I'm not going to be doing the 100 envelope challenge. I want to do monthly debt payments instead of lump sum at the end of the year. So this is kind of what my plan is. So my minimum payment is $433.45, which is due the 16th of every month. And I pay it with my second paycheck. And what I want to do is, from my second paycheck, pay an extra $250 towards my debt. So that's a total of $683.45 every single month going towards my debt. And because I only have one debt, that's it. After I'm done, I'm done. Again, I do have my credit card. It technically does have a balance, but I pay it off weekly. So I don't incur interest. I only get cash back from it. I want to also do quarterly updates to show you where I am in my journey. So at the end of March, June, September, and December. And then December, I'll show you the total amount that I've been able to put towards my debt. My goal is $3,000. So if I do an extra $250 every single month, so $250 times 12 is $3,000. So that's aside from the normal payments that I have to make. I'm going to add an additional $3,000. That's the goal. If I can go over that goal, it's going to be amazing. If I can't reach that goal, I'm not going to beat myself down about it, because things happen in life. So maybe there was an emergency and I wasn't able to put that money towards my debt. That's fine. But this is the goal. This is my plan. And then my goal payoff date is December 2023, which is 2 years early from the original scheduled payout date. That's the goal. Can I do that? I really hope so. Again, I'm not gonna worry if I pay it off January 2024 versus December 2023. If I have to take an extra month to pay it off, that's perfectly fine by me, because that means I still paid it off 23 months ahead of schedule, which is insane. So this is the plan. I could probably put more, but this is the goal. This is what I know I can achieve every single month. Or I guess this amount every single month and this amount yearly. So yeah, so that's my story. That's where I currently am. I'm grateful that that's kind of how things worked out for me, and my family was able to support me going through university and not having to pay bills, or I guess major bills, so I could put all that money into school. Again, I'm grateful for them. That's why one of the biggest reasons why I have that family envelope in my my sinking fund, where I put money aside every single month, so if my family ever requires me to help them out on the bill, even though I no longer live with them right now and I have my own bills to pay, I can send $100, $150, etc. That's why that envelope is there, because of how supportive they've always been to me. Alright, so that's my little debt story, my debt journey so far, and as time goes on, I'll show you where I'm going to be in the next few months and where I'm going to be ending in 2022, which is great to think about. And hopefully I'll be debt free by 2023 or December 2023. That's the goal. And then I can actually focus a lot more on other stuff. If I do decide to buy a house, be able to put money towards that, invest and things like that. And then for my future, and then for my family's future as well, because again, they've always been very supportive, and I want to support them back in the future as my mom gets older, my brothers get older, and things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully it was interesting to watch. If you have any questions, please let me know. Comment down below, ask me a question, and I'll answer it best I can. So yeah, leave a like. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, please subscribe. I'm hoping to reach 100 subs. Hopefully by, my goal is February, but we'll see, because February is my birthday month. And then I want to do a giveaway for 100 subscribers. I originally was going to do 50, but I decided to do 100, so I had more time to save up for that. Thank you very much, so much for this community. I love this community. I love watching everyone's videos, and I hope to see you next time. Hopefully, I will hopefully be releasing this before New Year's, but if I don't, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time. Bye!